going to have a look at how Newcastle press, how they took advantage of PSG squad imbalance, PSG's 2-4 or 2-3 midfield, and how Enrique tweaked things to try and get more pressure high up the pitch. Okay, so we start with Marquinhos playing it long, trying to play over the Newcastle press. This press typically starts with Isaac, the centre forward, flanked by the two wide midfielders, looking to press the goalkeeper and centre back, and whichever side PSG pass to, Newcastle narrow towards that side. Because of Newcastle's 4-1-2-3 press with centre midfielders pushing higher to mark Ugarte and Zaire Emery, PSG tried to play it through the fullbacks into forwards dropping. Typically that was Ramos or Dembele. On this occasion, Byrne is able to intercept this pass into Ramos, connect with Longstaff and get the ball back into Newcastle defenders. However, if PSG could draw out one of the centre-backs in the cells of Shaw, then that could cause serious instability in the Newcastle back line, as the other forwards such as Muani, Dembele, Mbappe, etc. will be able to attack that central space that centre-back has vacated. But that happened extremely infrequently, I think. From Sean Longstaff's pass back, Shaw gets on the ball and he's able to evade the PSG press despite them essentially going man for man here. That dispels all of the pressure here, allowing Newcastle to turn this counter press by PSG into a counter attack of their own with this pass through the lines into Guimaraes. During this, Almiron, because of the fact that PSG typically try and build up on their right hand side, will narrow, creating space for Trippier to be able to overlap, but also it creates this easy pass into this relatively vacated space for Almiron to then be able to combine back towards the left hand side. On this occasion, Newcastle choose to rotate possession involving Trippier, Almiron, Guimaraes, eventually playing it long into Isaac trying to run in behind. PSG get a free kick from Isaac's foul, but we get to see PSG set up again. So we get to see Paris Saint-Germain set up into their initial 2-3 shape, which is more conservative, with the staying deeper and the fullbacks typically staying relatively deep, although they did try and fire balls into the wide midfielders with player in support. So in this case we've got Emery, but then also you can get Mbappe here as well, and they'll try and play quick one-touch passes into the player between the lines, looking to try and take advantage of the space that opens up between the centre-back and fullback, and the fact that all of the forwards except Ramos are lightning quick. Newcastle sought to counteract this by playing this 4-5-1 shape, where the far-sided centre midfielder would typically stay more central, but then the other two would push over and support defense in that wide space. On this occasion, Newcastle's defense holds strong and they look to counter-attack, which is of course key for Newcastle in this game. Moving on, we get to see Newcastle in their deep block, again initially forcing a sloppy pass out of the Paris Saint-Germain midfield, who are really finding it difficult to pass into those four forwards, essentially almost having the team split up into these two very distinct units. Fortunately for PSG, they're able to win the ball back off Almiron and start their own counter-attack, their own transition, looking to utilize the trickery and pace of their wide player here, with Dembele supported by an underlapping run 1v1 against Dan Burn. Fortunately, Dembele's cutback is defended and Paris Saint-Germain have a throw-in where they demonstrate the near side and the CDM pushing out to support defense in this wide space, whilst the far-sided wide centre midfielder stays central. And again, this leads to an interception, on this occasion by Tonali, looking to try and start a counter-attack with an early ball. I'll just quickly show this scenario in the 31st minute. Again, we've got that 4-5-1. We've got a mid-block from Newcastle with the defence trying to stay as high as they can. This was against that 4-1 or 2-3 with Ugarte staying a bit deeper, with Emery pushing higher between the lines. Hakimi can stay deeper at right back, but as Paris Saint-Germain wanted to build up in midfield possession on this left-hand side, he had license, that being Hakimi, to push really high up on the right-hand side, but he was often forced to drop deeper to try and help facilitate progression. Note also how difficult it is for Newcastle's defence to narrow this central space between the lines, given just how significant of a threat in behind the Paris Saint-Germain forwards are. And then moving on to the 66th minute, Paris Saint-Germain don't have much else to lose, and so here we have a little bit of a transition for Newcastle, again, regaining possession high up the pitch, looking to immediately attack, having players in support. Unfortunately, Marquinhos is able to defend this and Paris Saint-Germain then transition. That's kind of the pattern of this game, with Paris Saint-Germain able to transition towards the left-hand side. Again, Mbappe holding the width on the left-hand side, constantly out of possession, threatening the counter-attack in that channel. Here, he's trying to combine with Barcola inside, but Newcastle just weren't losing the discipline. So again, good to see that 4-5, despite Paris Saint-Germain's rapid transition. They're able to defend that initial through ball by Mbappe, and then Paris Saint-Germain set up into this 2-3 shape, where the fullbacks are pushing higher, the forwards can narrow, so we've got Mbappe centrally centrally. We've got Dembele having narrowed because the ball is far side with Barcola. Whilst they did make this sub bring Barcola on, they never really addressed the midfield situation. It's curious with Neymar and Messi having left that Paris Saint-Germain still on this occasion. So typically they play a 4-3-3. They chose to play such an attack heavy formation. And then we also have the far-sided fullback Akeem on this occasion narrowing, as well as Hernandez. If play continues in this left-hand side, he'll also push up to really press the point. Paris Saint-Germain constantly rotated the ball between the central spaces and these wide spaces to force Newcastle into resetting centrally out wide to test their discipline. But with that, I think we've covered the main points. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, consider sharing it on social media, subscribing, hitting the like button. With that, we're out.